Should I or should I not tip the guide?
Which guide?
A hunting guide.
Or a fishing guide.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone on a hunt, paid $5,000 plus,
No.
No.
gone out and said, hey, I'm going to go and pay for this hunting trip? You get all the way out there, you pay for the hunt, the hunting's done, you shake hands, now you got this awkward silence between you and that guide.
There is that awkward moment there, isn't
And they're
there?
just kind of like
100%.
rubbing on their pockets, kind
Yeah,
of like,
yeah.
well, I hope you had a good time, but you mean to tell me I paid $5,000 for this hunt and I'm expected to tip?
Which we're not saying you have to.
No,
am.
fuck
It-
that.
it's-
I'm saying you do.
I
Let
am.
me be the
I'm
bad guy.
100%
I'll
saying
be the
you
bad
do.
guy.
Well,
You
fuck, don't let me finish.
We're going to talk today about the things that nobody talks about.
Should you tip your hunting or fishing guide? Yeah. Exactly.
It is a hunting industry norm. It
But
is-
I don't think it's as well known as
That's
what...
just it. It's not talked about. It is not spoken about. It is not on the menus for the hunt. Most of the websites you go to book a hunt, it's not talked about unless they have some kind of little asterisk on the bottom in the tiny print that says gratuity not included.
Right.
But there's a
Message. Gratuity is not included means we haven't factored in the fact that there could be a tip, well deserved, after this hunt.
Correct.
But there is often a lot of times things that are listed on there other than gratuity: trophy fees, kill fees, processing fees.
Yeah. Skinning and quartering
this
your
fee,
animal,
that fee.
meals,
Just
lodging,
cause fee.
Yeah.
Yeah, transportation.
Yeah.
Lodging.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it, guys.
What does a hunting and fishing guide do, though?
Well, let's talk about what you're paying for when you book a hunt.
Yeah. So for me, right, the outfitter, whoever it is, okay, because there's a lot of people out there. Now, we're kind of talking more Texas specific, right?
Yeah, I mean, we are in Texas,
Yeah,
and we know.
right.
But I mean, I think it applies to pretty
Just
much
about
anywhere.
everywhere. Correct.
It does. Even safari hunts in Africa
Yes.
and
Yeah,
all that stuff.
yeah.
I mean, this is something that needs to be talked about.
Correct. So there's several ways to do it here in the great Republic of Texas. There's outfitters out there that have access to properties all over the U.S.,
Yeah.
right? So that outfitter will normally be like, hey, okay, I'm gonna sell the hunt on your place. I need to know what you're charging, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I think it's on the outfitter to tell you, okay, your lodging's this, your this is this, is this, is this.
Fair.
That guide, yeah, he might be getting a cut, or he's getting a cut of that hunt sold, right? But that doesn't include the time that he's putting in for that outfitter. You're paying that outfitter. You're not paying that guide.
That's exactly
Well,
right. So-
I also think if you go buy a hunting or a fishing trip, why are you buying that? Why are you going to purchase that trip?
Well,
you need the opportunity.
right. So there's a lot of people out there that don't have access to public land, private land, and land at all. Or say you travel for work. You don't have a lot of time to hunt, right? So you'll use that paid hunt to fill your freezer for the year.
The point of exactly. There's many different reasons of why you may do that, but the number one reason you're doing it is because you can't.
Right.
You're doing it because either skill level you can't, access you can't, whatever the
Or
time.
you want to shoot a specific,
specific
animal,
animal.
or a specific size or size range. That's why you're paying.
So
for
if
a
you go
hunt.
to a restaurant, why do you go to a restaurant?
You might as well ask, why is the tree good? Why is the sunset good? Why are boobs good?
to eat.
To eat.
So I don't have to fire up the kitchen.
You don't got to fire up the kitchen. You
I
ain't
ain't gotta
cooking.
do
You're not doing
dishes.
dishes.
Yep.
You're not doing any of that.
Costs money to cook at home.
It costs money to cook at home.
That's my justification.
I mean, that's the point I'm making is you're paying for a service, and like Joe just said, is that outfitter may not have set the prices. That a guide may be getting a small cut percentage of that hunt, but the majority of what he's relying on of that hunt is a tip.
Same thing with
Can
like
I-
a pizza delivery driver.
Can I interject here?
Please,
I don't believe you're paying for a service. You're paying
for an experience.
You're
Nope.
paying for an animal.
Nope. You're paying for an animal.
Correct.
You're paying bottom line.
The
up
animal's
front.
part of the
Nope.
experience.
Nope.
No.
It's part of the experience, yes, but you're paying for an animal.
I can go find an oryx for $2,500 or an oryx for $5,000, right? You can look all over the internet and find that. So you're paying for that animal bottom line.
That's what that hunt menu cost is.
Correct.
You're paying for that. So it's an axis deer, it's a freaking ram, it's a
Whatever.
it's
a
certain-
whitetail,
certain class of a whitetail, it's
turkey.
a oryx, it's a turkey, it's a whatever it is. You're paying for that animal.
It's on the guide and the outfitter to give you the experience.
And that's where service comes in.
Correct.
And the opportunity, like you said, opportunity is huge because there's a lot of guys that just go drop you off and be like, all right, good luck, bud.
So we'll get into
Probably
that.
no
Right,
tip there.
right.
We'll get into that. But let's break down the costs. Because people are saying, well, I paid $5,000 for a hunt. I shouldn't have to tip. Well, hold on. That $5,000 was your agreement to go get on that property. That's your land access. That was your agreement to go and take, that was your opportunity to take said animal. Mm-hmm. Whether that hunt agreement said you can take this many pigs, this many varmints, that whitetail, whatever, you knew the agreement when you got on that property or when you booked that hunt. So that's your cost. That's your menu. But now you show up to that property and there's a guy there meeting you at the gate. And that guy there is there at, before first light, well before first light. He's there shaking your hand, getting you in the gate, getting you comfortable. Hey, all right, let's check your, make sure your permits are, going to get you legally be able to harvest.
He's been there, had everything prepped, ready for your arrival.
That guide was checking winds. That guide was making sure, okay, I'm going to, how do you want to hunt? Do you want to spot and stalk? Do you want to sit in the blind? Do you want to do this? Okay, in order for you to take that class animal, I got to sit next to you. I got a glass. I got to go to where I've patterned these animals. It takes a lot of work ahead of time.
And what's that guide going to be using to do all that stuff?
Well, they're going to be using
vehicles, UTVs.
His
anything.
equipment, right?
Yep.
His
and
equipment.
his time.
So now that guide, you paid for the hunt. But now this is where we're getting to the experience. So how is it? Do you get there? Were you hungry?
Yep.
Did that guide have a hot sausage
burrito
rack
for you?
or did he have some
They tell
wild
you
game
stop,
sausage?
Hey,
and
stop at Allsup's on the way in.
whatever the case may be, that guide did that for your experience.
Right. So
And then now let's talk about hunt. So that guide, you may be a better hunter than that guide. You might be far more experienced. You might be a better shot. You might be a better caller. You might be a better tracker. You might be a better all this. But what you will never have the upper hand on is there isn't anybody in that game that knows that property.
Correct.
The way that guide knows.
Correct.
Right? That guy knows that property in and in. He's got them animals patterned. He's been out there doing observation sits. He or she has been out there.
I feel like we're doing one of our guided speeches right now.
So that's what we're doing. We're breaking down what you're paying for, right?
Right.
So imagine you paid $5,000. We'll use that number because that's easy math. And then this guide started doing all that work. Now you're going, okay, look, man, I got 1 day. I got 1 day to get this 160 class buck.
Right.
What can you do for me?
And that's
as a guide now, where's the pressure on? Is it on the hunter or is it on the guide?
It's on the guide.
It's on the guide.
And that's where the time and effort and everything came into that guide prior to that hunt, because how many times has that happened to just us? I got 1 day, guys, and I expect this out of it. And it's like, oh shit, we didn't know that that's what we were getting into, but let's do it.
Yep.
And just
now you lean on everything in your toolbox.
Everything.
As a guide to say, okay, this is what's going to help me be most successful for this hunter.
And what it often comes back to is your past successes and things that you learned then. And you said it earlier, it's because you know that property or properties that you're guiding and hunting on. So without that experience, you're not going to give that guy, the hunter, the client, a good experience.
And that's the thing is now you're talking about experience, right? So experience starts from that first handshake in the morning. into the.
I think it starts before that. I think it starts with the correspondence.
You're right.
You know, like if you're an outfitter,
A good outfitter,
and you got clients coming in, and maybe you send them a couple of pictures of the animal that they're coming after.
This is what we're looking at.
Yeah, you say, hey, there's rain in the forecast. Don't forget some, rubber boots and some rain gear, whatever. Just keep them updated. Those small little details like that go a long ways.
It's gonna freeze, man. I'd layer up. All those things. It's gonna be a hot one. I'd wear something light.
And then, like you said, when they come through the gate, man, you're shaking hands and nothing but smiles.
Yep.
So now the work is on the guide to get you successful. They go out there, they put you on, bum, bum, bum. Guess what?
The animal
didn't come out. The animal did what animals do.
Guess what? There's two things that guy don't have control over: animal movement and weather.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't care if you're hunting high fence, low fence, whatever. I've hunted several high fence places in the past, right? I guided on several high fence places in the past, and the main one I guided on was 1,100 acres high fenced, right? And I could sit there and tell you, I know where these rams are going to be in theory, right? They normally hang out in this grove, right? The axis normally hang out here, right? And kind of tell you where they're at. But dude, then we would hunt for 3 days. And I'm talking whether it was stand, spot and stalk, cruising, trying to just glass them, you wasn't finding them.
It happens, man. I mean, full transparency here, guys. You're hearing it from 3 guys who have been guides, who have put in the work, who know what the grind that goes behind. Like we said, that first handshake, that communication, that correspondence beforehand. Once you get on the property, we're making sure, one, you're safe, we are safe. And then you're on a successful hunt. Along that way, we want you to have like the best experience that you could ever imagine, because really that's what's going to have you come back. That's what's going to tell your friends and family. That's what's going to help.
Word of mouth.
That's really what's going to help that operation keep going. You won't be back if that experience is bad. You won't be back, and you won't be telling your friends if that experience was shitty, if there was no animals, if this guy was full of shit and he just put me in a stand my wind was going right to the animals.
Well, that happens often, and I don't know how often. We haven't experienced it, but we've heard a ton of horror stories about that, where people pay for either a guided fishing or hunting trip, and then the guide just takes them out and drops them off, and it's like, good luck, bud.
Yeah.
Does that deserve a tip?
Now there's some ranches
not.
that post that say, look.
Now,
hey,
if that's what the agreement is, yes, because there are outfitters which nothing wrong. I would actually prefer that, if I'm paying, but
yeah.
But now we've itemized like what you get. Now on top of that, let's say you do get an animal, that guide's going to be skinning and quartering and caping and doing all these things. And how do you want it? I want it over easy, well done, all these things. I want the entire pelt from snout to tail. All those things are going to be taken extra care of. The cuts, the
everything.
The skinning, the quartering. Putting you on ice and getting you down the road with a smile, calling your friends, man, you're not going to believe what just happened.
And how about keeping you legal? Because I don't know how many times us as guides.
I can't do nothing about their age, but.
Yeah, right.
She said
hunting legalities. All right. Yeah, I don't know how many times did we have to keep people legal. We're like, oh, well, you can't hunt this, you can't hunt that, you can't do this, you can't do that. Yeah. And often they don't even know why. They're like,
or you got guys like me that are just like, no, let's go ahead and jump that fence, right?
Jump that fence.
Just kidding. I'm reformed, right? But you've got guys out there that want to do stuff like that. I've heard of people get kicked off of places, right? Guided hunts, like you paid for a hunt. It was like, okay, here's, I'm going to put you in a stand. I know they're coming here, whatever. And then the guide comes back and the dude's the next property over shooting neighbor shit.
Yeah.
I see a smile.
I've heard of stuff like that before too. Yeah. Well, people getting out of stands and just roaming when they're not. Yeah. It's like, what are you doing?
But,
okay. So if somebody who's willing to put in all that work and they do it to give you the experience that you paid for, right? Why is that not justifying a tip? we got a lot of comments.
There's
Let us
so
know in
much-
the comments what you think. Is this something that you think is out of the norm? I think it's a valued response. Like I want to show you appreciation for the work you did, because without your work, I wouldn't have been as successful. I wouldn't be going home with my trophy. I wouldn't be going home with meat in the
But they're
cooler.
gonna take
Right.
that picture with that trophy, like they done it all. Like you were a trigger man.
Yeah.
You were a trigger man.
Right. So, it's just like going on a fishing trip. Most fishing guides, right? They add in the price of fuel, they add in their time, they add in bait, they add in all their stuff to the price of the fishing trip. But I can put you on a boat and just go 5 feet off the bank and say, "Here you go, fish." No, that guide went out and said, "Hey, we're not finding fish here. We're going here. We're going here." He might have said, "Hey, it was a 5-hour trip, but hey, we were there for 7 because we didn't find fish at one point. Now we're in them," right? If you're going to sit here and tell me that doesn't warrant a tip,
Yeah, well.
There's sometimes where a trip may not warrant a tip.
So
let's
there
get
is.
into that. Let's get into that. So, okay.
Before we do, I just got one thing though. There's one thing I think that may make it hard for people to stomach, and I think I may have mentioned it already, is when you go on that menu that you're looking and you see those kill fees, trophy fees. That's hard to stomach to that tip.
Now, see,
If you roll all that, all those fees into the rate, and this
Right.
is the rate I'm paying. This is what I'm paying.
Correct.
Gratuity is welcomed. After that, I don't feel so bad about that tip.
No, not at all. So when I guided, I did the same thing. So your skinning fee, all that was
Rolled
bundled up
into the
one price,
rate.
right? So your price to come shoot that animal was, we'll say,
X amount of dollars. Just throw it out.
We'll say $1,500 to come shoot something, right? That was the price. Everything's included, but it did say gratuity is welcome, right? Because guess what I did when I was there? I was cooking breakfast, cooking lunch, cooking dinner, right? If the hunts were over, hey, y'all want to go do some fishing? You want to go try to set up on some pig? Like you go above. Most guides and most people will go above and beyond, because as somebody that works for a living, right? I want my money to go the distance. So if I'm paying $1,500 to go shoot an animal, I want your money to go the distance. And then if you do want to tip me, cool. But know that I busted my ass for 2 days, 3 days, 1 day, 2 hours, who knows, right?
Yeah.
And that's all. I think that warrants a tip.
I 100% agree.
I agree, but I can see where the clients are coming from, and from the perspective is like, man, most hunters don't know how much work goes in it. Most guys that have only been on a guided hunt, right? They show up and they think it's a cookie cutter operation. Like, you're gonna put me in a stand, I'm gonna shoot a deer within the first 15 minutes. You're gonna get it skinned and quartered. I'm gonna eat your taco, and I'm gonna hit the road.
That's a sign of a good outfitter, though. That's
Yeah.
exactly what you want.
Yeah,
is
but they don't know the work
that went
it.
behind that. Yes.
You know, the feeding all year, all that stuff.
Not
And
only the work, but the freaking money.
there you go.
Yes.
So, and then outfitters are leasing this land. There's a cost associated with that. There's the vehicles they have to get you to, point A to point B, get you in the stand. It's a lot of effort that goes behind it, and that's why I will agree with the people that are talking about the outrageous costs. Guys, there's no doubt that with today's prices in the hunting industry, that they're skyrocketing and this and that. Well, it's trending in the direction where it's becoming more popular. Going on paid hunts and doing all that, it's getting a lot more popular for people and attractive for people to be like, damn, I want to go get a trophy. I want to go do that. So then it's being more accessible to the average person who might not ever hunt.
Right.
So now they're going on their first time and they're paying for an experience where they get that kind of stuff, but they've never gone out on public and tried to grind it out themselves.
And talk about ruining hunting. Personal
agree.
opinion only here. Personal opinion, ruining hunting if you do, guided hunts only ever.
I agree. I mean, I think you should start off and work your way up in the sense of, especially man, I'm gonna give some advice here to parents. Guides.
Is this PBS now?
No, it's people who, when we've had paid clients, you know, that bring their kid out, they put them on their first hunt, and they put them on a trophy deer, their first hunt. They're 8 years old. Put them on a trophy deer. And
an 8-year-old with a 180.
Yeah,
and
it happens.
That kid is done hunting.
Like
expectations are high.
I've
hunted my whole life, and then I've never shot a deer that big, and then Dad comes out and pays, you know, like, hey, take my kid to go shoot that deer.
So I'll be part of this conversation because I just ruined my son, right? But it was private property, and the deer showed up. But I'm not going to move, kid, right? I'm not doing that. I'm not.
That 180 comes out, I'm punching my son in the head.
If you had the opportunity to hunt that without paying, then obviously that's different.
But
I mean, if you were on a
for a hunt,
if you were taking him out and he's like, hey, his first hunt, and
if it was his first hunt, and
son,
I paid,
that's a $3,500.
If I took my son, say I paid for Colt to shoot his first buck, he'd be shooting a 120 or a scrub. Right, like something
or a spike or a doe,
small buck.
What about 2 in a day?
A scrub buck, right? What?
It's happening.
Never mind. So
let's just
a
say
scrub
this.
buck. I can't see, like, if you take your kid out and he shoots a 200-inch whitetail as his first deer, I think you're just showing off your pocketbook at that point. I don't think you're doing any justice to that child.
Well, when we talk about showing off pocketbooks, I mean, there's a thing too, like.
If you can afford it, then shit. Who am I to judge? I don't care.
Outfitters don't want to seem desperate, so their prices are going to match the value they think they have. Hunters don't want to seem cheap, therefore they're going to try to pay for a hunt they feel like they deserve, right? So there's a lot there when you talk about, you know, dollar amounts and prices. So it gets real deep.
It does.
And a lot of people don't talk about it, man. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to have the conversation. You can have your opinion. You can think that it's not worth it. All we're trying to do is kind of get people to understand why it's a conversation and maybe educate some on the fact that they don't even know. We had a lot of comments of people were like, well, if I'm supposed to tip, well, then how much?
Well, I think a lot of people don't understand that it's like the guiding portion is a service. The outfitter, you're making a monetary agreement for the animal, like you were talking about. And then the guiding portion is an actual service separate from that flat rate cost to the outfitter.
Right. And most
that goes into guide fees.
And sometimes there's guide fees that are listed, but when you see that list of all those different fees, you're more apt to be like, I'm not tipping. I paid a guide fee of $100 on a $7,000 hunt. Yeah. That guide fee is there to protect that guide that he gets at least something.
At least $100.
But think about it, man. I mean, most guides are, you know, we got friends that are guides that live in Missouri that come down and guide all hunting season here in Texas. And they're down there working their tails off. Just $100 doesn't cover the gas from the gas station to the freaking ranch. Me too. You know? So it's like, I mean, you got to put it in perspective, guys. If you're going to a,
where'd that come from?
If you're going to a high fence ranch, and that place it's in the middle. Texas is a perfect example of how to break this down. It's in the dead middle in the center of Texas. You live in East Texas. In East Texas, you can't hunt this particular animal. They're not there. So you need to get to Central Texas. I'm just using this as an example. You already know that you
Bigfoot. We got Bigfoots here.
Yeah, we got Bigfoots here.
Yeah, his name's John Sherrill.
So they get down here and they got to hunt. Now, chances are that guide has to travel that far too.
Yeah, he's coming.
So that guide had to cover that much gas, and then you're going to go over there and be like, hey, thanks, shake your hands, and walk away.
And that guide might be pulling a side-by-side on a trailer. He's bringing equipment with him. He's
got special feed mix or something that he thinks is going to make him a little more successful and go out there the day before.
That J2 berry blend.
He's going to go out there and drop some J2 magic blend out there and go, here, man, let me get these.
But in defense of that guide, okay, that is your choice, right? So if I decide I want to go shoot a nilgai, we know most of the nilgai, unless like behind a high fence, South Texas. I'm adding the gas it's costing me to go from Central Texas to South Texas. That's on me, right?
Yeah.
So why am I going to take that out of what the work that guide is doing? I can't see doing that.
Well, there's also you as a guide. You accept that guide. You accept that hunt from that outfitter or your own outfitter for that price. Correct. with the notion that you may not get a tip. Sometimes there's a guide fee, $100, maybe $200 a guide fee to protect that guide, that maybe they get some, at least they get something.
Right.
Because tips aren't mandatory and you may not always get them.
Most outfitters cut their guides, a couple dollars for, guiding, right? But then you've got some guides that, they live on the property at the outfitters. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You got other guys that are blue-collar turds like us that we don't live on a ranch, so we're still taking extra time out of our day to make sure that we're tracking animals, we're patterning animals, everything else. But I'm just saying there's people right now that were in the comments saying, I chose to pay for that hunt, so I'm not tipping no guide. Okay,
hey, if you don't
cool.
like it, raise your prices.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good for freaking you. Let me tell you, there's guys that come from Oklahoma, even though they roll their joints wrong. They come down here to Texas.
What's wrong with them? Are they too damn skinny and way too long?
Way too long. So they drive down here to hunt. There's guys that come from Kansas to Texas to hunt. That is your decision to come to Texas to hunt. So you have to add that into your shit. Don't take that away from the guide, because the guide's still out there putting his every single day hard-earned time and money into finding you that animal, making sure your shit's good, especially if you're coming out of state, right? I'm on a soapbox.
We got Preacher Joe. He ain't Poacher Joe anymore. That's Preacher Joe.
So
I'm sorry.
I think we've gone through.
When would you not tip a guide?
That's what I'm saying. I think we've gone through the justification for tipping a guide.
So
what is justified to not tip a guide?
So if I'm there, if I pay for a hunt, and I'm at the ranch house, and the guide tells me, "Hey, feller, be up at 5:30. We're rolling at 5:30." And at 6 o'clock, he comes in drunker and skunk, right? Old Cooter Brown, and takes you out, throws you in a stand, falls asleep, does whatever, and it's just a trash-ass guide. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, guess what, bud?
That tip is reflecting
that tip is dropping by the minute.
If you don't
harvest give me food poisoning,
if you don't harvest an animal or catch a fish on that trip, does that negate a tip?
So, okay, Kansas last year, I went. A friend of mine owns a fishing outfitter, fishing guide. Me and a couple guys from Texas went up there. And my father came from Ohio, met us in Kansas. We went fishing.
I feel like I'm on the Senate floor. Like I have to be like, this is a yes or no answer.
Filibuster.
No, check it out. We got there, full intentions, right? We paid for a fishing trip. We're going up there. We also had a chunk of money for tips and stuff like that. We got there, the weather turned, and we didn't catch near as much as what we thought we were going to catch. I still tipped him. Because
great point.
The weather flipped. That's not his fault. And it really did come out of nowhere. We had been watching radar, everything else, right? But if it's a guide that's just, well, we're going to do this loop because there's normally fish here, and you don't catch nothing, and he's just like, well, sorry, and takes you back to the dock because his time's up, you're not getting jack.
Right. I got a horror story, man. I paid for a dove hunt one time. A day hunt, $75, wasn't expensive. Showed up to the property. This guy had 20 trucks on this property. We get out there. Actually, we met at a Dick's right down the highway.
Of course you did.
You would.
We met where the Dicks hang out.
Oh, you met in the bathroom?
So we hang out. We all meet at Dick's, and it's like down the highway or whatever. So he's like, hey, meet us here in this parking lot. We get there. I count the trucks. I'm like, dude, there's 20 trucks out here. Each truck has about 4 guys inside of it.
That's a lot of guns.
That's a lot of guns, dude. We get out to this property, and they line us up, right? Well, they come by. Once they line us up, about 100 yards away from each other. I'm just kind of like, the setup, right? I don't know. Well, they come by and they drive past us, and I hear that the guide, outfitter, not really a guide, it's unguided. But he comes by, he's like, good luck, man. There ain't been no birds, and he pulls off. And I was just like,
why do you got all of us sitting out here?
That's a shitty thing to say to a paid client. Now, granted, that was $75 day hunt. I'm glad to have a place to hunt.
But on a group hunt like that, I don't.
But he was just money grabbing 20 truckloads. Say each of them have at minimum 3 guys in the truck
at $75 a head.
Yeah, and that's the morning hunt only. There you got to come back and pay another $75 if you didn't limit out the morning to come out in the afternoon. So he's really taking $150 from everybody, or 75 in the morning from one group and 75 from another.
That guy's not getting a tip, and
No.
to me that's for like a dove hunt type outfitter, I don't think I would tip something like we're gonna meet up, we're just gonna drive out, I'm gonna park you in a spot, you sit there, shoot birds as they fly. I'm not.
That's unguided.
Yeah.
That's unguided.
That's like that outfitter. Go ahead.
I think there's really 2 ways you never tip a guide that's out there trying to help you and work with you. One, they do something unsafe. If it's unsafe, or they do something illegal that could, if you get caught, sorry for you. If you don't get caught, I don't think I would tip that guide. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Other than that, I mean, we said the 2 things that out of control of the guide, the weather and animal or fish movement, right? Mm-hmm. I would still tip a guide if I didn't harvest or catch, depending on their effort.
What if you actually shot and missed?
Oh, you're paying.
What if you actually shot and missed twice?
You put me on an opportunity.
What about 3 times?
What if you shot and missed 3 times?
Throw that son of a bitch out the gate. Throw him out the gate.
We did.
Shit, no, man. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that.
No.
God damn.
Yeah,
You
no.
took 3 shots?
No.
And then ask to borrow a gun?
Got him.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Bro. And then you're mad because
you didn't get your animal?
You didn't go home with an animal. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, man. You took 3 shots.
Not that you didn't want to tip. You didn't want to pay. You took 3
nah,
shots.
Bro.
No,
After 3 shots, you didn't want to kill an animal.
Check it out. I'm a firm believer that if you are on a paid hunt and you pull a trigger, if you miss, most people will be like,
that's on me.
They'll kind of give you some leeway, right? But if you shoot and you hit an animal and we find blood, guess what? You're paying. You're paying. That's on you, dog. That ain't on me.
There is some responsibility that goes to the actual client,
To the hunter himself. Yeah, absolutely. You got to make sure they're not hunting with a 6.5. You got to make sure that
That's number one.
100%. That is first. If you call me and like, yeah, man, I'm coming out for a hunt. I was like, cool. What are you shooting? A 6.5 Creedmoor.
No, you ain't.
Sorry, I got bad service. Right? I'm hanging up. No, but when I took my dad and my sister on that ram hunt, and come to find out that they got tickets for poaching, they didn't tip me.
Well,
I don't understand why. I still put them on an animal, right? I put them on an animal. I processed it. I did Euro mounts and everything. It's not my fault that they got arrested by the game warden.
I almost made a very inappropriate joke.
Let's tell a little story time.
Oh man, here we go.
As a guide, we had, so mind you, I can tell you right now, you can be a better hunter. You can be a better shot. You can be a competition shooter. You can be any of those things.
What kind of 3-gun?
3-gun competition shooter.
Just wondering.
And if you show up and you tell me, first thing we ask hunters when they show up hunting, what do you ask? How good are you out to? Well, first off,
yeah. Well, what are you shooting?
What are you sighted in on?
What caliber are you shooting, and how good are you out to?
And then what are you sighted in?
And then when they answer, how good are you out to? Always take 200 yards off of it.
Dusty, can I get a beer? I know you're trying to be behind the scenes. Hey,
Dude, I was about to curse. You know what? I will.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here, Ben.
Tell me why. Hey, but why? But why? But
Joe,
why?
hold on.
said, "You know what? I will."
Or why?
But why?
Hold
Or
on.
why?
But why?
Listen, Linda.
Hold on.
I give Joe the international. He fucking head nods. I got you, buddy. I switch cameras so the movement isn't seen. He rolls the beer under the camera. Dusty says, "Hey, bro, I got you." And here you go. "Hey, man, let me get a beer."
Hey, hold on.
It's not that important.
Listen.
No, and I've been playing bartender all night.
Listen, Linda. I have to let it be known that here at the Cast and Blast podcast studio, beers don't just pop out of nowhere. Yeah,
That one did.
We got someone out here freaking handing beers out, dude. This isn't some kind of miracle show, man. We are raw and unfiltered, uncensored.
I just figured the studio was magic, kind of like my laundry.
We jump in and show the magic beer tro. Just say hi.
Yeah, jump in, say hi.
Yeah, man. So, but
Anyway,
Ace,
back
back to the story.
Hey,
Back to the
thanks for the
guide.
call out. Appreciate that.
All right, so we're out here. I don't even know what we're talking about. I could pick any story.
So
right now.
so we're I really want to hear this. So we're talking about you can show up and say
Be
you're
the
a better
greatest
shooter,
gun-
hunter.
You're
right.
John Wick.
Yeah,
right?
you're John Wick.
Yeah, competition 3-gun. Okay, how far are you good to? Oh, 600 yards, easy. Oh, 600 yards. All right, we're gonna make this happen. Shit, we got 100-yard shots. We got.
Are you good at 50?
right? You know what I mean? So we get you out there. And we put you in front of 8 deer. 8 deer.
Not just one group of 8 deer, like different.
8 different
8
deer.
different deer. Every one of them, you're tinkering with your tripod. You can't get your sight on. I can't see them in my scope because you're zoomed all the way in. We got to get you to zoom out. We got to do all these things, you competition shooter. And then we put you. Damn, I think I grabbed his freaking scope and pointed it on a deer and said, "Shoot that one."
Not to mention, shows up and says, "I want to buy 9 tags,
Yeah.
and then I want to come back next week for like 18 more."
Right. So we're expecting this guy to be laying down some lead.
We thought we're going to be shooting deer like pigs.
Right. We put him in front of 8 deer. Guy did not pull the trigger one time.
But why, Ben? Why?
Because he was wearing white Hey Dudes and denim jeans.
And what else? So,
He had a 6'5" Creedmoor.
well, he had a 6'5" Creedmoor.
Oh, fuck. Dusty, you were there?
So he had a 6'5" Creedmoor, and we're ranging these different deer. Because, he said, "I'm good out to 600. I prefer long distance shots." Okay, we're going to put you on some long distance shots.
Yeah.
Everything's under like 400. There's 8 deer out there. And he's like, "Nah, they're too far."
Yeah.
Dude, this is what you asked for.
So
you
now,
asked
Now,
for
hold
this.
on. Before he got
you
there,
said 400. It was actually 200.
Yeah.
My bad.
But when
200.
you...
Dude, that's a big difference.
That's
It's a big
huge.
difference when, like, think about it. You got a guy saying he's good to 600. Y'all with me still?
Yeah.
3-gun competition shooter.
But did you verify his 0 with the 6.5?
No.
No, so that's the thing is on this property, you better come zeroed in, and if you're not, that's on you. And you can say that's on the outfitter, that's on the guide, that's on this and that, but we don't have a range. We don't have, the animals
We
that
had stipulations that, per the landowner, that we had to abide by
right.
also.
Correct.
So it was like, hey, you're going to be shooting on this property, make it count type thing, right? All right, cool. Well, and we offered to meet someone at the range and do all that, but when you're sitting here telling me I'm a 3-gun competition shooter, bro, I think we're good.
And
if
you got to go.
if you come in saying claiming to be Chuck Norris, then yeah, I expect you to be Chuck Norris.
I expect
you got
a
a gun-
roundhouse or two, you know?
You got a gun case that costs much as a vehicle, and you open up the case, and it's a carbon.
Well, hold on.
Carbon barrel. You got a $4,000 scope on it.
Well, hold on.
It's-
What happened? So his equipment costed. He had tens
He had
of thousands.
$7,000 worth of
So he
rifle.
had tens
in
of
his hand.
$1,000s worth of equipment. Did he still have a truck payment?
That I don't know.
Well, I will tell you that.
I
do
know,
you
I did at
He's
the
a
time.
he's a married child.
Hey, I know I did at the time.
I will tell you at the end of this hunt, it ended with one of those. Do you know who my daddy is?
That's what this client said.
You got a name?
We told
Oh
this
yeah, we
client
got a name.
and
Yeah.
his daddy. to
Drop
go
it.
freaking-
Drop
Yeah.
it. Drop it.
Here's the thing.
What? How does Yoda say it?
So
You
after
could off fuck all the way over there.
So, off is where you can fuck.
all right, after this hunt, this client refused to pay. Refused to pay. I'm not paying. Well, what do you mean you're not paying? And at this time, guys, this is MLD tags. The way we were doing it at that time was you paid for that tag.
Yep.
You own that tag. When you booked
Correct.
that hunt, you own that tag.
Correct.
If you want to come back, you can. If we have an open day.
Yeah, you come back, fill that tag, but that tag's yours. Because we're booking it to you.
Yeah.
Now I'm not paying for that. I didn't shoot anything. I'm not paying for anything. Hold on,
You
just said you
paid
were gonna
for
pay
the
for 9
tags.
tags.
This is stuff guides have to put up with.
So
That's why we're telling the story.
needless to say, the guy ended up leaving. He ended up paying. I don't know if you think for 1 second that Jimmy and I are going to let somebody leave there and we're going to have a negotiation of you leaving me empty-handed.
Yeah, guess what? Never mind.
I felt
Never mind.
I got into an argument with some folks one day about
Talk about
not
it.
wanting to pay.
Talk
and
about it.
I felt one of these pull me back and say, Jimmy, just come back here, man. It ain't worth it.
Jimmy was about to send someone to 72 Virgins that day, and needless to say, they never came back.
I had several of those myself.
It-
I had
it
a
goes-
bachelor. I guided a bachelor party.
Why do you not? So the reason we're saying this, guys, is because you don't understand sometimes the stuff guides actually do go through.
Oh, yeah.
That tip sometimes is very well
I guided,
needed and
I
appreciated.
guided a bachelor party, and at one point in time, I had to physically jump on a black buck antelope after almost an hour and a half of fucking tracking him and 2 shots. And finally, I said, "Your guys' hunting is done."
6'5" Creedmoor?
No, 22-250.
That's kind of on the guide for letting them shoot up. Well, black buck's not very big.
So it was myself and another gentleman that were guiding. We had like 7 guys, right? So it was like, okay, a couple of them weren't hunting, but they were like, hey, we just want to kind of like get in a truck or Gator, Ranger, and if I see something I like, you know, that's kind of but this is what I'm looking for. Cool, got it. We spent weeks getting this place prepped and ready, right? And then they got there, and the other gentleman that was with me, he took one group, I took the other, and I got a call about halfway through and was like, hey, man, I need help with a shot. And I was like, all right, cool. So I get there to help him, you know, track this animal real quick. I said, what do you shoot it with? He was 22-250. I said, what? What?
Yeah, that's what.
So then
It's
the
got
second,
on the guide for letting them shoot it with that.
I will say both shots were about this close, just right here,
Yeah.
right?
He was aiming here.
Oh, dude. But, you know, but
Good grouping, bad aim.
yeah, you know, so that's the type of stuff we've done. I had a hunter ask me if I would rinse the intestines out so they could take them home.
I bet you rinsed them
That's
out.
your job.
I sure did not.
That's
No?
your job.
No.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's like,
No.
depending
Well,
on...
the guy that was with me did.
Yeah.
Right? But I wouldn't about to sit there and try to wring out, 40 foot of intestines out of a ram.
There's some scary things that happen out there. The scariest thing we had happen one time, and Jason, I know I've been seeing you comment. We appreciate it, and I'm going to tell your story real quick. And I know I just name dropped you, but we'll keep that last name out. But this was a scary deal for us.
This isn't the scariest one for me, but I know which one you're telling.
We had a
Excuse me.
it was a father, a son, and
Holy
son
Ghost.
wife come out. Father, son, and
The Holy
and
Ghost.
the son's wife.
Yeah.
In which I'm gonna do a shout out. I gotta do a shout out.
Yeah.
If you're in the Houston, Conroe, that type area out there, and you got dogs that you don't like picking up their poop, look up Campbell Scoops. It's the coolest name ever.
Yeah, dude.
Campbell Scoops.
That is dope.
It's dope. And these folks are good folks.
Yeah.
Good people. Good people.
That is one of the
Clever.
dopest names.
Clever.
Dopest.
Super
cool
clever.
logo.
Even the logo, man.
Hey,
Campbell Scoops.
I want to add to the shout out. Check this out. You would think I'm paying someone to come scoop my poop, right?
Yours?
Or your dogs.
Or your dogs, right? But whatever. But
There's people out
Hey,
there.
he does horse, anything. Like he's a
elephant. You know,
yeah.
I'll pick it up.
This dude just like, look, what you don't want to scoop, I'll go scoop. All right. This guy has press shirts, starch jeans, tucked in shirt, red, white, and blue
Nice hats.
logos and everything. He's got a shirt, logo, everything. Shows up professional every day.
Hey, dudes.
Maybe some hey dudes, but he ain't hunting. He ain't hunting in hey dudes.
He ain't hunting, hey dudes.
But I can tell you this, that he shows up looking
Oh,
professional.
he's in Sika.
He looks professional, and I think that shows a lot of pride in
In the person.
the person. Like, he's showing up to your place looking like this, comes and takes care of your property, goes and drops flyers off in the properties left and right. He is he's
hitting the grind, hustling,
doing
grinding,
it,
man.
And you
doing
sit
it.
here and you think, I can't make no money. There's no jobs out for me. Here's a guy out there doing the dirty jobs that
Bro,
nobody else
Campbell Scoops.
Dude, it's
Look 'em up.
awesome. So we get we put the father in a blind, and then we put the husband and wife in a different blind about a mile away. Well, we
wants to do.
hear,
Unbeknownst to us, it was their honeymoon.
oh yeah, we didn't know that. Yeah, they came to hunt with us for their honeymoon, which is badass.
If the stands are knocking.
Yeah.
So we start driving them out, and what we didn't know is the father got like severe. When I say severe motion sickness,
Motion sickness.
you can't put him in a vehicle and go 100 feet without him throwing up. We got in the truck, started driving out to the stand, and he's like, "Oh, pull over! I gotta throw
Well,
up."
I could hear him in the back
Oh yeah,
seat.
Ben could.
No, I could hear him in the back seat like panting, and I picked up on it because my wife's motion sickness, she used to be, and I knew this, and I look and I go, "Hey man, you're not motion, pull over." Like, before I could finish, Jimmy pulls over. He violently empties himself.
And we were gonna take him to a different stand, and I was like, "No, you're going to the closest one."
No, hell no. You're going to the 40-footer.
Yeah,
buddy.
you're going to the closest one.
Yeah.
So we I don't know, it's a half mile to the very closest stand, and he throws up. We got to stop 10 times before we get there.
Good.
He ain't
Man.
lying, dude.
I'm not
He ain't
exaggerating.
lying.
That's
He ain't
not.
lying.
I exaggerated a lot of shit. That's not 10 times before we get there. I'm not exaggerating.
Holy shit.
He ain't
So
lying.
finally, we get him in the stand. We get the husband and the wife.
Mind you,
out
we
to
want
a
to call
different
it
stand.
off.
Yeah, we're getting ready to
Yeah.
just call the hunt.
Like,
Dude,
yeah, we're
do
done.
we need to call you an ambulance? Like, dude, what? You can't have any more inside of you. Like, what is going on? He's like, no, I'll be fine.
So we get them out there. We go to sit in between. They're about a mile apart. We're about a half mile.
Hold on. How did he get to the ranch?
Okay,
So
he's
it's
good if
okay.
he drives.
He's good if he has to
Okay.
drive.
He has to
Okay.
drive. So we offered, hey, you want to drive to the blind?
Yeah.
We'll tell you where to go.
Yeah.
It's that bad.
Okay.
But we didn't know. So
Tracking.
So we're learning this
Tracking.
on the go.
Tracking.
So then
Bro, you say 100 yards. I don't think we went 20 yards.
it probably, dude. It was.
It was bad. It was like we felt horrible.
If we say what it is, it sounds like a huge exaggeration, but it's a little. You put it in drive, and it's like pull over.
Sorry, I gotta go. Like out.
No
Put it in drive
way.
again,
Bro,
It's
when I
bad.
tell you he was out there throwing up, like getting out the truck, hunched over, hands and knees.
So now
That's how violently ill he was.
We get him in the stand, and
There ain't no way you can
Daylight.
hunt. There's no way you can hunt, right? No, I got this. Guys, I'll be all right. Are you
Daylight
sure?
finally gets there, and we hear a shot, right? And we're like, okay, cool. But they
What's the first
paid.
thing we do when you're shot?
This right here, we're
Hell
like,
yeah.
But they came to hunt more deer than
than
just
the
one.
one.
So we're just sitting there, and then we get this text, and it says help, and it's from him. And he's been texting us during this time about how ill he feels, how bad he's not feeling good, and things like
So
that.
at Mach 94.
At Mach 94 through the
110
lease.
mile an hour. Yeah, there's no roads, no nothing
Bro,
stopping me to get
I'm
to you.
getting a first aid kit
Yeah,
ready.
absolutely.
He's hauling ass. We're
and,
freaking going.
And you got a gun loaded.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're ready to go.
Like we're moving.
That's
ready to
all
go.
the text.
That's not just as a good guide, but that's as
good human.
Good human.
That's
Dude.
all the text said. Is
we get
help.
that text, we automatically go into fight or flight.
Dude,
Absolutely.
we did. We hauled ass there, and we get there, and I jump out, and I'm like, Jason, what's good? He's like, I shot a doe, man, but she just laid down over there, and she's around that tree, and I can't see her get another shot on her. And I was like,
Yeah, we were like, dude, kidding me right now?
Dude.
I go over there expecting this dude to be hanging from his leg out the
Right.
blind.
Or
like,
he shot himself.
Yes.
Right?
Himself.
Like,
dude,
like
we were going, I'm literally, I kid you not.
everything's
First-
running through.
We
First
were
aid
both
kit-
freaking out,
First
dude.
aid kit ready.
And it's like
Trauma response ready.
But then you get there and it's like but
You know
here-
what our trauma response kit is?
But as a duct tape and super glue.
Oh, a box of tampons.
Tampons,
My
bro.
man. So hey, look, you know how many times I've sat. So when I was younger, I had asthma really bad.
All right, let's go back to the other story first.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, so you get there, and I mean,
We'll
as,
edit
as
this
much
out.
as you want to be mad, no, we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
We'll be
We'll
right
stay
back.
right here. Go to a clip. No, as much as you want to be mad, you're like, fuck you, guy.
Oh, well, the story isn't
Oh,
over.
hold on. There's more.
The story isn't
But
over.
wait, there's more.
Yeah.
So yeah,
on,
we
Vanna.
we tell him we're freaking. We're like, God dang, dude, we thought you were dead or
Yeah.
dying or like don't.
All we
do
saw
that.
was help, and we're just hauling ass. We knew you were in bad shape, so we're like coming over to help you, man. Just glad you're all right. Give him a hug. You good? Yeah. Where's the deer?
So he points over. There's like a little grove of trees in
Yeah.
front of the stand, and this doe walked over and just laid down over there. So I got a 45 on my hip, and I was like, man, I'll walk over and take care of her for
A
you.
commemorative 45.
Commemorative. So I walk over there, and that doe's laying down, and she's got her head on the ground. She hears me walk over, and she picks her head up and look, and her jaw and shit's just hanging off of her head, dude. And I was like, oh my God, no. So I pull that 45 out, dude. I'm like, I'm talking to her. Like,
I'm watching this.
I do have, like, I pet deer. You know, I
Dude,
tell them I'm
that's-
sorry.
You
Like,
remember when?
yeah.
You remember when
you
Brad
had
Pitt was like, "What's in the bag?
What's in the box?
What's in the bag?" Jimmy's looking at this thing. He's like, "No."
I'm sorry this happened to you.
Dude,
it
that
wasn't supposed to be like this.
As an outdoorsman in general, that is the worst thing you'd
It
ever
is,
have
man.
to do, right?
It is bad.
And he said that she was just laying down so peacefully, like laying down.
Dude, it's like
her-
she looked up and looked at me and was like, please
Just
hurry
shoot
up and
me.
do this.
Shoot me.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so we did. Ka-chow, she gone.
Sucks.
It happens. Help.
But dude,
Dude.
to think that a guide will go through all that,
And then not get a tip.
dude.
Or you don't throw him a little something. Look, and
Oh,
check it out. We're not just talking about money, right?
Which
At
we're
all.
not talking about your crew, Jason, because y'all did. We're just using that as an example of shit we go through.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Campbell Scoops.
But we're not talking about just money either, right? So I've had a guy be like, "Hey man, you know, I own a knife business. I make knives. If
Yeah.
you want a knife, right? We're not just talking about knives.
Money.
Wow, money. We're not just talking about money. You can tip anything, right? Just not the tip, right? You get shot for that, right?
Hey, dude, we've had tips like in the form of some. When we first started, we were very primitive.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just kind of roughing it out there,
Yeah.
getting people out there doing the best we could with what we got.
Deer camp.
Absolutely. Had a
And
hunt-
people loved it.
Yeah. I had a hunter come out next time and was like, "Hey man, saw you guys out there breaking this bone with this tool. Here you go. Boom. Got this tool now." We've had hunters come out and be like, "Here, man, I saw you guys out there last time cranking up the deer with this stuff. Here,
Here's a
man.
winch.
Here's some grease for your
Yeah.
the cables."
The cables, yeah.
as
It's,
it's
it's,
not
a, it's, a, it's
GA.
a special kind of grease that'll keep those cables from kinking up. Bro, everything counts, man.
We've had
Everything,
corn. We've
yeah.
had everything from money,
Protein.
knives, corn, parts. Like
Yeah.
we've had parts, vehicle, truck, or ATV part. We've
Anything.
T-post, cattle panels.
Anything.
Like it, and it all came in.
no, it all
to
does.
help.
You don't just, you know what
Chairs,
Chairs.
blinds, whatever it is. Like, hey, man, I have at least this is how it went down for us, guys. We were very fortunate. We had some stuff where there was like, hey, man, I came to hunt with y'all. I had such a good time. I have a lease in such and such. Guess what? I'm canceling my lease next year, and I'm just going to come pay to hunt.
He
with
almost
you
said
guys.
Ozona.
I did. But
I mean? Yeah,
it's
no.
the truth, and then they'd be like, I'm just going to pay to hunt with you guys a couple times a year. And, You know, Ace,
And that's when you find a
you're
good
not-
guide and you tip them well, they
Right.
take care of you.
you're not a hunter, man, but you know, you've had some experiences where you've paid for something and you felt like it was of value to you. You know, how do you feel about the whole subject? From the outside looking in, you've been hearing us gray bearded sons of bitches talking for an hour now. What do you think about this whole deal? What, from a consumer's perspective, how do you feel? Where are you at?
Look, this is what I hear. We're paying for, well, I would be paying for time, opportunity, and experience. I don't have the time to go scout any of this, land, whatever animal we're going after, right? Probably don't have the opportunity because I don't have the lease, right?
Yeah.
And definitely don't have the experience. So I'm definitely paying for that service. That's what I would pay for, in my opinion, right? So I haven't done any of that yet, but I remember a few spring breaks ago, I went on a road trip to Arizona. I went to the Grand Canyon. It's a hole in the middle of the U.S.
You know
right?
the Grand Canyon's in Las Vegas, right?
No.
It's not in Ohio.
So
That's where Joe Dirt got left.
I decided. So we decided to go on this road trip, and I decided to pay for a guide. I got yelled at by the missus, like, why are we paying for a guide? We used to go out there and then just follow some Google reviews, and yeah, that's great and all, but I want to, if I'm gonna go there, I want to get guided by someone who's native to there. Like, hey, here are the spots that the tourists don't know about, and that's exactly what we got. We showed up to their building, hopped in a van. The whole way there, they were talking about, hey, this is what this is about. This is what I do. I've been here this long. Great experience. He took me to all the spots where they weren't busy. And at the end of the day, lunch was included, poke bait. At the end of the day, we're glad we paid for that hunt. Hunt for that guide.
That
Soon to
experience.
be hunt.
That
Soon to
experience,
be
yeah.
hunt.
So
Goddamn, he
hey,
said pogey bait.
yeah,
He did.
Hey.
He said pokey bait.
yeah, that's the veterans in the end. So I paid for that, his time, his experience, and then that opportunity. You know,
Right.
And
So
a pogey bait.
and
poke bait.
the pokey bait's the most important portion of that, right? The
Was
whole
there some
story.
gummy bears?
But it's the experience. If somebody is willing to put in the extra time, their money, their time, their everything, to put you on an animal that you're asking for, and to give you that extra little bit, that extra experience, do it. Point.
Which we're not saying you have to.
No,
am.
fuck
It-
that.
it's-
I'm saying you do.
I
Let
am.
me be the
I'm
bad guy.
100%
I'll
saying
be
you
the bad
do.
guy.
Well,
You
fuck, don't let me finish.
Hey,
I
guess
know.
what?
Fuck that.
Intervention
Ah,
time.
Yeah.
Intervention time.
Don't let me finish my thought or
Nah,
nothing.
fuck
No,
that.
no, fuck
Hold on.
that.
I'll be the bad guy. If you ain't tipping, it's just as bad as you going to a restaurant and not tipping at the restaurant. That's a piece of shit.
I don't
bro.
always tip at the restaurant.
I
Ben.
do. And here's
if,
why.
If you get shitty service,
I'll
or
tell you what.
get-
I'll tell you what. Even if I go somewhere and they're not doing shit,
I adjust the tip.
Yeah.
I adjust the tip.
if I
yes.
go somewhere and they're not doing a fucking thing for me, I'm ordering a salad bar where I'm doing all the fucking work. Guess what? Somebody still had to put all that shit out.
I'll
And
tell
when
you where
get
I
there
don't tip.
And I hit it and it says, "Would you like to tip?"
Yeah.
Even if it's the minimum, I'm throwing something on there because somebody is giving. I understand they get paid to be there and do their job, but they're still doing it to make it look nice. Whether the plates are clean, whether this, that, whatever.
I'll tell you why I don't tip sometimes. The reason I don't tip sometimes is for the hope that that person will understand why I didn't tip and
Yeah,
they'll fix
good
their
luck
shit.
with that, bro.
And if they don't,
You're changing the world right now, dude.
one no tip at a
One
time.
no tip at a time. You're making a difference.
Well,
dude.
if one person gets it,
Kudos to
that's
you,
all that
bro.
matters.
Kudos to you, bro.
and
Now
there,
tell
there
me-
you go over that ridge again.
Tell me where you don't tip at.
At the sandwich shop. At Jersey Mike's sandwich shop.
Why?
You don't want to build your own sandwich? I mean, you want to build your own
Let me
sandwich?
tell you why. Because it's not like a guide service.
This guy just got on a soapbox over
Yeah,
here.
I want to
like-
tell you why. Everywhere you go now, Subway, Jersey Mike's, whatever, you go to a sandwich shop, they have
We don't go to Subway.
whatever it is. You go and they have the whole, everywhere you pay now, I'll give you guys this. If you're complaining about paying for tips for hunts, I'll give you that everywhere else you go, there's a tip now.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
I don't tip everywhere.
So
I don't.
I'll give you that. But the hunting guide thing, I'm on. I'll die on that hill. Now again, reflected on the experience. I'll leave it at that. But like we're not talking about going to a Subway sandwich or a Jersey Mike's and they're making a sandwich. That guy's getting paid an hourly wage, and I got a tip every time I'm going to do that.
I do.
I don't.
So
I don't either.
Even if it's just the
I do the minimum.
$1.07.
I do the
right?
minimum,
Whatever.
but-
Or round up to the nearest dollar.
No, I do the-
that.
If he
minimum.
throws me an extra sauce of that American cheese on it, maybe.
I do the minimum, but damn it, I was a sandwich artist at one time.
He said sandwich artist.
Nerd.
And I made artisan sandwiches.
Did you work at a green and yellow restaurant?
You goddamn right.
Oh, so
Let me tell you this.
for another time.
They got better cookies and sandwiches.
I'll tell you this.
Jersey Mike's is way better in general.
Trust me when I tell you I got mine.
I believe you.
You might want to get yours.
We can see.
This wasn't brought to you by freaking half sandwiches. This was footlongs at a time.
Was this brought
You want a
to you
6
by?
inch? How about a foot long?
Oh, that's what Jared said to all those kids.
Well, I was nowhere on
Oh, Jared, that took
yeah.
me a quick second.
Yeah. I was not affiliated. I was there in the Happy Gilmore time. It was a different
So was
time.
Jared.
So was Jared
God damn it.
and Tom Segura.
God damn it.
Hence the reason you will never, as long as I live, catch me in a Subway. As long as I live.
Joe, it looks like you've never been in a Subway, but we'll change the subject now. We'll go back to freaking...
Go see our last video.
You know, I was thinking about this recipe about rolling out some cinnamon rolls and
fuck
stuck
you,
it
Joe.
with.
Fuck you, Joe. I shared that with you in confidence. I shared that with you in confidence.
Said in confidence.
I shared that with you in hopes that I would share that recipe with you and that you would get a taste. But you can go home empty-handed. Fucking asshole.
There's nothing in confidence.
Guys, I'm going to tell you guys.
Tip your guides.
We're going to end this with... We all have our opinions. We invite you to drop yours. Let us know in the comments if you think that we're full of shit and that you shouldn't be tipping your guides and that the price should reflect that in the menu. And if you don't like what you're not getting as a tip, maybe include it in your price. You know what? I'll end it with this, and I'll say this, that a good outfitter should have their prices set to where it reflects what they feel their value is, period.
Agreed.
Now, understand that the outfitter isn't the guide typically. Yes. And the guide is typically a hired hand. I hate to say hand because I feel like that's less than, but I mean that in no disrespect.
We'll call them an outside resource coming in to provide a service
Holy shit.
to you.
Jimmy's on some freaking politically correct shit today, but I'll give it to him. He tried.
This is Speedbug Thesaurus over here.
He
Fuck.
said, let me give you a synonym.
The definition of.
But I'll give him that. He's trying to be right, and he's absolutely
Man,
right.
I'm just trying to say, tip your guides. They work their asses off. That's all I'm
I'll
saying.
say this. They understand that the guide is not the outfitter. They're not the guy you're paying for the hunt. That's the guy who's working their ass off to put you on the experience.
Bingo.
If that experience is good, man, it warrants a damn good tip. And you would be surprised that tips come, like Jimmy said, in all kinds of
Say
variations.
it. Tips come in all shapes and sizes.
All shapes and forms. I'll leave it at that. But we'll be right back.
That's the kind of tips Joe likes.
Pause.
But as we get a little deeper into this box of beers,
The tips getting deeper.
I say tip your guides as they are, what value they bring to you. How about that? There's no set price. There's
Yeah.
no set
If
percentage.
you have a great experience and you feel that they've gone above and beyond and done what they needed to do to make sure you had a great time, tip your guide.
Because they're doing it for one reason only, because you can't. And it may just be due to time or experience, whatever, but they're doing it because you can't. Don't forget that part.
Agreed.
If you could, you wouldn't be hiring people to put you on a hunt.
There you go.
I'm sorry to say it. We're saying the things that no other podcast is willing to put out there. We're talking about topics that I want you to Google it right now. Should I or should I not tip my hunt? See what pops up.
Jimmy's
See
got
how
away.
much information you
Or
can find.
fishing trip.
Jimmy's gonna wait till he gets to the stand to Google it.
Best place. Best place.
But listen, guys, we're here to just share the stuff that nobody else is willing to talk about. We're tackling the tough topics. We keep it raw and unfiltered here. We have a couple cold ones while we're doing it. This is a raw and unfiltered fishing and hunting podcast. There are many fishing podcasts. There are many hunting podcasts.
But there's only one
Cast and Blast podcast. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.